A sneak peek at Joan Rivers Confidential, a gorgeous scrapbook of the late icon's life, featuring clippings, letters, and dozens of finely honed quips from her famous joke files. By HILLARY Busis. October 20, 2017, 5:04 p.m. Joan Rivers Confidential, the Unseen Scrapbooks, joke cards, personal files, and photos of a very funny woman who kept everything book cover. Combing through the voluminous archives of Joan Rivers, a groundbreaking comedian and meticulous record keeper who saved every clipping, magazine cover, photo, Bergdorf Goodman receipt, and union card, made her daughter, Melissa Rivers, feel like an intrepid archaeologist. "I wish I could remember the name of the man who discovered King Tut's tomb," she jokes. "We like to refer to her as a collector, which is rich people hoarding." Her efforts to categorize the annals of Joan are captured beautifully in her new book, Joan Rivers Confidential, the Unseen Scrapbooks, joke cards, personal files, and photos of a very funny woman who kept everything, written with her mother's close friend, publicist Scott Currie. The 336-page tome, out Tuesday, isn't just a visual biography of Joan, who died in 2014 at the age of 81. It's also a fascinating history of show business more generally, one that tracks the evolution of television and comedy from the days of Lucy and Ricky's demure twin beds to the Kardashian era. "When my mom started, and she was pregnant on TV with me, you couldn't say pregnant," Melissa marvels. "You had to say, I'll soon be hearing the pitter-patter of little feet." But social mores changed dramatically over the decades, thanks in part to Joan's fearless, edgy comedy, which was marked both by withering self-deprecation, a typical one-liner about her own appearance, "I was so ugly that they sent my picture to Ripley's, believe it or not, and he sent it back and said, I don't believe it," and her unsparing observations about other celebrities. Joan Rivers' note card on Boldest. Though Joan was merciless even to bold-faced names, as you can see from these excerpted joke cards, just a few selections from her legendary filing cabinets, which contain 69,000 perfectly organized quips. According to Currie, she somehow managed to make even her sharpest insults feel like badges of honor. "For Joan to make fun of you," Melissa explains, "you had to be so well known and such a part of the pop culture zeitgeist that people will understand the joke." Making it into her act meant that a performer had made it in the business more generally, and Joan also had a policy of retiring gags if she ever heard that targets or their families were truly hurt by them. One such target, Melissa says, was Willie Nelson, though she can't remember specifically which quip one of his children objected to. One celebrity who never asked Joan to stop, even though the comedian's files hold some 851 liners about her weight and appearance. Elizabeth Taylor, the Oscar winner who became Joan's favorite punching bag in the 1980s. "She was fascinated by Taylor because America was fascinated by Taylor," says Melissa, and Joan had it on good authority that the violet-eyed grand dame wasn't too bothered over the jokes. Joan Rivers' note card on Elizabeth Taylor. Joan Rivers' note card on Elizabeth Taylor. A mutual friend, actor Roddy McDowell, once told Joan that Taylor was not upset when Joan took aim at her because the gags didn't hurt her where she lives, meaning, says Melissa, that Elizabeth was so secure, she wasn't unaware that she had gained weight. So the core of who she was felt so solid that it didn't affect her. The pair even publicly made nice at a 1985 benefit for battered children. The photo they took together there, reprinted in Joan Rivers Confidential, was a media sensation. Joan Rivers and Elizabeth Taylor entering together for a benefit for abused children at Spago in Los Angeles, 1985. Photo by Greg DeGuire. Though the joke cards are largely digitized now, Melissa and Currie say that they're still finding bits and pieces of Joan ephemera hidden at the backs of drawers, in the pockets of her clothing, and scribbled inside of books. One volume initially in the donate pile contained a home phone number for Nancy Reagan, who died in 2016. Clearly, between that, the files, and the boxes and boxes of things still in storage, I asked Melissa, says Currie, did we even make a dent in this storage bill? and they took it down by like $20. There's enough material out there for an entire Joan Rivers memorial library. Joan Rivers note card on Michael Jackson. For now, though, the authors are concentrating on this first hardback and on selling it the way Joan would have wanted them to, with good humor and a little touch of QVC chutzpah. It's really a visual history of the 20th century, Currie says. And it's heavy enough to be a very chic paperweight, Melissa adds. It has multiple uses, just like my mom. Get Vanity Fair's HWD newsletter. Sign up for essential industry and award news from Hollywood. Email address. Subscribe.